Okay, here's the thing. My faucet does not work right. For some reason, it like gets hung up and it's really incredibly hard to turn. And here's another thing. You remember when we lost the power and the power went out in a lot of our homes? Well, when the power went out in our home, it also went out on our sprinkler system. And so now the sprinklers aren't coming on when they're supposed to come on. They come in the middle of the day, and I don't have a key to get into the thing to reset it. And so now my sprinklers are coming on in the middle of the day. Okay, here's the other thing. I changed the oil in my car, and the reset button on the maintenance light is not working right. I can't get it to reset. After about 17 tries, I usually get it, but I just get so frustrated when I can't get it to work. Oh, and our Wi-Fi is ridiculously slow. I don't know why. It used to not be this slow. We haven't changed anything, and now all of a sudden, it's like crazy slow. Not only that, but I got this new Fitbit. And the reason I got the new Fitbit is because the old Fitbit, the display went out. But for some reason, just for random reasons that I can't understand, my Fitbit will stop giving me messages, buzz, when I get a text message. And so if I have my phone in my pocket, that's fine. But when it's sitting there and I get this text message and I don't know I got it because my Fitbit didn't buzz, it just drives me completely nuts. Okay, and here's the other thing. We went to go get our COVID vaccines, and they double booked the appointments. And so it took us over an hour to get our COVID vaccines. Not only that, but there was a guy that came in after me that had an appointment later than me, and they took him first. All right, I'm gonna stop whining. But those are some of my frustrations. And my hunch is, you've got your own list, right? You've got a list of things that you whine about and that frustrates you. We all have those lists. It's part of being human, I think, to have a list of things that just frustrate you. Some days you're okay, but you know those other days when you get frustrated and you don't know what to do about it. It's part of our human condition, which made me wonder. Jesus was fully human. Did he ever get frustrated? Did Jesus have a list of frustrations? You know what? I think he did. There's one verse that I found in Matthew chapter 17 where I think Jesus just pretty much loses it. And this time it was over the fact that his disciples aren't able to help this child who is in need. And Jesus has just gotten through this wonderful spiritual high where he was transfigured and he was visited by Moses and by Elijah. And now he comes down this mountain after this wonderful experience, and his disciples aren't able to do some of the basic things that he believes they should do. And Jesus says this in Matthew 17:17, "You faithless and perverse generation, how much longer must I put up with you? How much longer must I be with you?" Wow. You don't hear that a lot of times in Jesus, do you? I mean, Jesus always seems to be pretty willing and able to be patient with people and help people. But the fact is, Jesus also got frustrated. And as I said, it's a part of the human condition. But here's the thing. I think my frustrations are pretty trivial compared to the things that really frustrated Jesus. And maybe if we look at what are those things that frustrated him the most, we can recognize where his heart truly was. You see, a lot of my frustrations are just based on being inconvenienced, or having to take more time to do something, or having something not work exactly as I want to. My frustrations are really very much more self-serving. They're much more about me. But Jesus' frustrations were different. I found this article, and it lists the things that frustrated Jesus most, and I thought it was really interesting. This author says that here are the things that made the list of Jesus' frustrations. Rules being placed over people, kids being pushed aside, self-righteous judgmentalism, making it difficult for people to get to God, selfish ambitions, and the general human condition of pain. Now, aside from that last one, where Jesus gets so frustrated, we see this in John chapter 11 when he sees the grieving of Lazarus' two sisters over his death. We see Jesus really frustrated about the human condition of pain. But if you look at those others, rules being placed over people, kids being pushed aside, self-righteous judgmentalism, making it difficult for people to get to God, and selfishness, those are the things that frustrate Jesus. And you know what? None of those are about Jesus. They're all about how we treat other people, how we look at other people, how we treat them with contempt or disregard. That's what frustrated Jesus most. And I think the reason it frustrated Jesus most is because he loved us so much, and he knew that when we live in loving relationships with one another and with God, then we will be more at peace. And when he sees people treating people the way they treated people and the way they judge each other, it frustrates him, because he knows that life can be so much more than what we make it out to be. So, yes, we have our lists of frustrations, but perhaps we need a more godly list. Perhaps if we were truly frustrated with how we treat each other, then we could change. And maybe some of those frustrations could be put aside.